Imagine building a city, not on the land, but above the forest and in the middle of the ocean. Now imagine it's still standing and surviving more than 1,000 years later. This is one of the most beautiful cities in the world, but here's what most tourists miss. Beneath the surface lies a secret, a hidden system that defies nature itself. You won't believe the engineering that keeps this floating city from sinking into the depths. If you're curious about how ancient innovation meets modern survival, please like and subscribe to help this video reach curious people like you. Because we're uncovering the extreme engineering that keeps floating city from sinking into the sea. Welcome to Venice, Italy, famously known as the floating city. But here's what most tourists never realize. Venice doesn't float at all. Instead, it sits on one of the most incredible engineering in human history. If you could drain the water and strip away every building, what you'd uncover is a hidden forest of ancient wooden pillars driven deep into the mud centuries ago, still supporting the city's weight with silent strength. It was the 5th century AD. Barbarian invasions swept across the land, forcing desperate locals to flee to the marshy edges of the Venetian lagoon. There, they faced a seemingly impossible question. How do you build a city on water? Muddy, unstable, and constantly shifting. Their early attempts were primitive, wood, reeds, and clay, but nature had other plans. Storms tore through their makeshift shelters, collapsing them again and again. Then came a breakthrough, a radical idea that would change history. By driving thousands of wooden posts deep into the seabed, they created a foundation so stable it could support entire buildings. Not just for years, but for centuries. Now here's where things get truly remarkable. The iconic Rialto Bridge, just one structure, rests on 14,000 wooden posts driven deep into the lagoon floor. And the legendary Basilica di San Marco? Its foundation alone required the equivalent of 10,000 oak trees, a forest sacrificed to hold up a masterpiece. And that's just 2 buildings in a city packed with hundreds of historic structures. Experts estimate that Venice stands on more than 10 million wooden piles, an entire forest hidden beneath the water, silently holding up a floating city that's defied gravity for centuries. But here's the real question. How do you install millions of wooden posts underwater? It all starts with the wood. Engineers chose only the toughest woods: oak, pine, alder, larch, and elm, each post measuring 10 to 25 centimeters wide and stretching up to 3.5 meters tall. Then comes the astonishing part. Using enormous hammers, they drove each post deep into the seabed until the earth refused to take another inch. And they didn't stop at a few. 9 posts per square meter, arranged in a perfect circular pattern, formed a dense underground grid. A hidden forest of timber so strong it rivals the stability of modern concrete foundations. What happens next? When those wooden posts are driven deep into the muddy seabed, something remarkable begins to happen. The intense friction between the wood and soil compresses the soft ground, transforming it into a solid, load-bearing base. But the real magic is just beginning. Underwater pressure acts like nature's sealant, filling microscopic gaps left by bacteria. Meanwhile, minerals like calcium carbonate slowly seep into the wood's fibers, crystallizing over time. The result? Timber. That's not just preserved, but hardened into something tougher than stone. And the most interesting part? It's still evolving. Venice's foundations aren't just surviving, they're actually strengthening with age. Even Venice's legendary engineering has its limits. The city now faces a relentless double threat. It's slowly sinking, while the sea keeps rising. Some of its heaviest structures, like ancient bell towers, are sinking at a rate of 1 millimeter per year, a quiet descent that adds up over time. To hold back the tides, engineers launched the MOSE project, a series of massive floodgates that rise from the seabed to block storm surges and high tides. But here's the reality. MOSE is a temporary fix for a permanent problem. It buys time, not salvation. Venice is still in a race against nature, and the clock is ticking. So there it is. Venice, a city that's defied time, tides, and gravity for over 1,600 years. Held up by wooden posts that don't just endure, they evolve. It's a breathtaking reminder that ancient innovation can outlast even our most advanced technologies. But here's the real question. Can this miracle of engineering survive another 1,600 years? That depends on us, on how we protect our planet, our coastlines, and the delicate balance that keeps Venice afloat. If this story amazed you as much as it did me, smash that like button and subscribe for more hidden wonders brought to light. Got a landmark you've always been curious about? Drop it in the comments. I'm uncovering the secrets behind all the things you wonder in everyday life.